You're my new best friend. You are the light. Thank you. What a perfect song for the truth and the light of service and seva and all that you are, all that you bring. And Craig, oh my God, the reading. We had the beautiful play, and I think the runner-up for the Angel of the Night, and then you're God itself. Whew. I'm a little intimidated to speak after all of this, but what a joyous day to be here. My heart, I of all things, I'm emotional. I thought I'd gotten over it, but I'm so moved. You know, Reverend Sharon Kennedy's here, and you have a chance to say hello to her. We've missed you in the community. When I saw her, I felt like my left arm came back. So I just have missed you so. And the practitioner unit of our center, we have prayer requests and we have prayer circles, and we spend time with that. We really honor that. And Helen Peterson is here, and yay, Helen. She had open heart surgery, and yay, she's back with us, so don't hug her too hard. She had an open heart surgery. Yes, she already had an open heart. So hug her gently. Anyway, as I look out there, the memories and the friendships fill my heart. So thank you for being here today. And this talk is dedicated to the urge to serve. And I spoke at the 9 o'clock service about a journal of one of my friends, but I want to elaborate a little bit more, a little bit deeper in the philosophy behind why we talk about this. What is this idea of serving? And how can I be a part of that? How can I understand that as a spiritual principle, as a spiritual truth that really grounds me in the greater idea? The reading that Craig spoke to was an Ernest Holmes in the Science of Mind text, and it is the two great commandments are to love God, but also our brother, also our fellow man, also humanity. So we can't just do one without the other. And so how do we love another is through the service, is through the service of our heart. And I particularly will bring you some absolutely great wisdom from one of my spiritual teachers, Ram Dass. And he is so much fun to read because he's so authentic. You can feel your own self in those moments when we're trying to be so spiritual, and yet something else happens. So he speaks to that. He speaks to that in such a way that your heart just continues to open with amusement at your own stuff. You know, so that's where we're gonna share today. And in the Joyous Living Journal, which this message, this idea was taken from, service is a generous way to live. It requires you giving of yourself to another, to a situation, yet it's part of your soul's purpose to live in service. And Gandhi, one of my other great wise teachers, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. How do you lose yourself in the service of others? Is to not look for any gain, not to look for any accolades after you've done something wonderful, to just walk away with your heart pure and open. You do it because you are the hands of God. You are the one. And there's this inner urge, as your beautiful prayer, Reverend Barbara, opened to remind us of this inner urge to practice this sacred service. So it is, in the Sanskrit, wrapped up in the word seva, and it's a sacred word in itself. And it's this deep soul satisfaction that we gain from really offering ourselves into this. In the yoga tradition, which is one of my favorite paths since I was 18. And so I've studied a lot in that realm, and I love how I can find the wisdom in all traditions. But in the Bhagavad Gita, it is called karma yoga. It's called karma yoga. It's one of the arms of yoga, this path of service. Some people have, there's different branches of yoga. It could be bhakti yoga. Bhakti is that deep devotional yogi. And this karma yoga is where you do your work. That's why oftentimes you would go to an ashram and they put you on a work duty. It's so you can saturate yourself with the understanding of what does it mean to serve this one, to serve without complaining. So, and the message at most all the ashrams you will see is love all, serve all. And that's what we bring here, love all, serve all. Allowing our inner spirit to unite with our world, that inner love for God, that unity with the divine, but also to unite with the world. So this philosophy of karma yoga is found in the Yoga Sutras and in the Bhagavad Gita. It allows your hands and your heart and your head to follow a path of service. This karma yoga is dedicated to a service to all. It invites us to embrace all experiences without expecting any results. Now that's the hard part, because it's not just about doing some volunteer work and feeling pretty good about that hour. It's about all the hours that you're doing your livelihood work, the work that you get reimbursement for. And so even there, you need to polish that part of yourself, saying, I deserve a raise. Well, perhaps you do, and there's no reason why you have to be small and not claim that for yourself. But the bigger idea is to continue to do your work with great joy. So this is the alchemy. This is the alchemy, this idea of sacred service, alchemy. Alchemy is changing all of those ideas that like I was saying in another service, the flickerings of the mind. The flickerings of our mind, don't some of you have that? I mean, in that 2-minute silence, were you? It's amazing where we go in 2 minutes. And then the bell comes back and you're going, oh yeah. Was I drooling? Was I snoring? 2 minutes of God. What did I do with it? I flickered. So, but this opportunity is to use this time. Use your work then to be the alchemy to purify your heart. You want to listen with that divine reverent listening. Listen in such a way that it's beyond just doing what's provided for in the moment. Don't let yourself be tainted by your opinion of what you're doing. Ooh, the opinions. Worse than flickerings. Opinions. But mine are righteous. Mine are the right way. No, perhaps. There is this idea of just listening to what's needed and providing what is asked for without letting it be tainted by your opinion of it. Those are words of Ram Dass. You want to serve without judgment, you want to act with compassion, and you want to allow dignity to be preserved. Dignity to be preserved on the recipient of your service, of your heart. Now, sometimes service makes you squirm. At this holiday time, we were down in Sacramento and we got in our car. We're all 4 of us loaded up, so my kids were in the back so they could see me do my reaction to the lady who caught my eye walking towards wanting money. And I was like, oh, here's one of those. Do I look them in the eye? Do I take them in? Do I pretend I didn't see her coming? Back up, Charlie, back up really fast. No, I opened the window, but it was with all of these flitterings, fluctuations of the mind and the heart that were going, and I thought, what if she wants a ride somewhere? And all of this, I started to put all this opinion on it. And all she wanted was a little money. And so, graciously we gave her that. And the blessing that you get from that moment back is like, I wish I had more. I wish I had more to give. I didn't give enough. I scraped through the coins and I didn't really dig through a purse. Charlie handed me money and it was just a moment in time. But it was, how do I act? How do I allow her dignity to be preserved? That's the part. Allow the dignity to be preserved. And so think about the times there was a lot of people asking, bells ringing in front of stores, different ways to give. And I remember sometimes my heart would close. I could feel it. Don't see you walking in. Don't have any money on me. An excuse, a separation, a closing down. My container became very small. And yet, I know that my heart blessed that moment as well. I just couldn't give, didn't have it. Leaving all reactivity behind. That's a hard one when you're doing your seva, when you're doing your life's work. Leave my reactivity behind? It's so juicy to talk about. I'm interesting. No, it's not. It's that reactivity. And then there's this, here's the uglier part of this piece. My reactivity, but also if I'm so spiritual that I keep my reactivity to myself, but later I hear somebody else share theirs and it's very similar to mine and I feel righteous, like, yeah, I have that too. Yeah, that person. Oh, yuck. But it's all working its way out. Because even behind all of that is God. The Untethered Soul, my favorite book lately, I just finished reading it, speaks to that part of us that every tradition, that everything we do is asking us to remember that self. Remember that deep divine self. That God self, that connection to the One. Don't forget that. Sitting deep inside of you, there is no judgment there. There is none of that reactivity there. That's all in front of it. And when I was looking at this, I started thinking, it's sort of like that character Pigpen. Pigpen's really cute underneath all of that stuff going on around him. But to me, that's all our stuff. We're like Pigpens, walking around with our reactivity just in our auras, just this sketchiness all over. And yet, within that is that innocence. That character of Pigpen speaks with such clarity and such truth. He's a brilliant guru. So, you wonder, I think this is an interesting question, and Ram Dass presents this, you wonder what others are getting to work on from your stuff. Me? Causing stuff? Uh-oh. Interesting. So it's a humble path, isn't it? To remember, I could just been somebody's reaction. Oh boy, oh boy. And so we can't walk around paranoid, but we walk around with love, humility, understanding, and a dialogue with this journey, with this time together. And Ram Dass pointed out, he was writing the book, How Can I Serve? It's a beautiful book. But he said, shame on me, because as he was rushing to finish his writing in his car, he passed a man with one leg on crutches, and his thought flickered, I'm too busy to work on my book, How to Serve, to help him. And that haunted him. And then he also shared another story, so you can see the realness. Ram Dass is a man filled with spiritual wisdom, filled with humanity. And he also said that same revelation came as he was writing on his book, How to Serve. And this gentleman came to him and said, can I talk to you? And he goes, not now, make another day. I'm just too busy writing my book, How to Serve. And so the next day, the guy came and says, may I talk to you? Later, I have to have this time to write. 4 days went by, and the gentleman committed suicide. Ram Dass' heart broke wide open. So you see, there's these moments, these urges to serve, and we have to be very, very present to the call. to the moment, to the urge, and watch what we end up putting in front of it. So this idea of being absolutely devoted to God in your service to others, you will recognize that joy will abound. In the Bhagavad Gita, it says, letting go of the attachment of the fruits of one's actions, one is ever content and does not have need. Isn't that wonderful, not to have need, when you're not attached to the fruits of what you've done? Though one appears to be doing things, actually the higher self is at play through you. And that's cool. And we've all been plugged in there. Those moments are just, they're so innocent, and there's so many of them. This is what pulls our world together. Confucius says, choose a job you love and you will never have to work another day in your life. I love that. But you don't want to sacrifice, you don't have to sacrifice your inner convictions to be of service to others. The other part of the reading that was shared so beautifully was speaking exactly to that. You do not have to, I can't find it right now, but here it is. It says, from this teaching, this is Ernest Holmes, we are not to suppose that we are to love that in each other which does not savor of right. We are to love the right alone. We are to look to God, we are to look for God in each other and love this, forgetting all else. Just look for the God in that person. Back away from that pigpen swirl of attitude about what you feel for another person, what they're doing. But would this compel us to accept from people that which is not good? Of course not. It is not necessary for one to make a doormat of himself in proving that God is love. This would be like suffering for righteousness' sake, which is always a mistake. The idea here is so crisp and so tangible for you to realize deep in the self, untethered, is this soul that knows pure love, unconditional love, is always operating through you, is always seeing through your eyes, serving through your heart. It is there. So there's just a deep sense of soul satisfaction in that knowing. Love all, serve all, and be true to your own convictions to a point. Ram Dass says, this is so important here. We bring the unpolished self to our tasks in life. We're here. We were born because we have some work to do. So we can't expect to be, sorry about the song, but we are perfect. And inside that deep place of perfection, yes, we are. But we also have these areas where we need to polish. This selfless service helps us to be present with our inner state of being. That's what it's asking you to be. Let me see what I feel here. Let me see what is the stirring of my soul. Because we can't help but bring our personality and our drama. But we're asking here now to listen deeper than that to one another. Work past our reactiveness and begin to see each other in a deeper way. And again, this is the alchemy, the inner transformation of the heart and the mind. Christ or Krishna, either one, were the absolute voice of this wisdom. Both of them. They came from this place. And in the Bhagavad Gita, if you've not been a scholar of the Bhagavad Gita, they speak of Arjuna as being that seeker, speaking to that wisdom, that clarity of the Christ consciousness. And so this truth is revealed. Do your duty in the world, but dedicate the fruits of your actions to God. So even in those moments when the grumbles start, I dedicate this to God. I move deeper into my soul and I dedicate my work. I dedicate all my offerings to this one. Be impeccable, Ram Dass says, with your offerings because you are longing for this union with God. Your karma is all your past actions, and your work is your dharma. Your dharma allows you to liberate yourself from those past actions. In the Bible, Paul says, be confirmed. Be confirmed about love. Be confirmed in love through service. Oh, it's there too. And it's represented in all the tales of the Bible and the scriptures. And this devotion of service to another, to a higher calling, to a higher being, is the way the babe of Jesus was to the Mother Mary. It was how Krishna was to Radha. It was the devotion of the child Jesus to his Father, to the One. All of this idea of being a servant to God with devotion and with joy. And so another thing I was discussing with my kids is this idea of my unpolished soul, because you know where the edges are in you when you realize something's bothering you and it's not bothering anybody else. And that's always been a deep question for me. It's a wake-up call. It's like, oh, here's my work. I want to bring that person that it's not bothering down to my level and make it their problem too. But it's not their issue. It's not their stuff. But it's mine. It's mine to polish. So you want to sit with it long enough, get far behind your identification and your fear, get back into that state of awareness. Reverend Pam will be starting a presence process soon. Reverend Pam, when does that start? The 19th of January, an evening class. Now, the presence process has been phenomenal for many. It's a practice where you really are present with your stuff, but you also can link it back to, where'd this begin? And sometimes when we can pluck that seed of the beginning of it, our path is cleared of that weed forevermore. So you want to sit with it long enough to identify your fear and get back into the awareness, mindful of our predicament, but no longer lost in it. Humanity is there, but there is also is that spacious awareness. And when you sit there, you let all the barriers dissolve. And you don't have to be giving advice or being all like wise there and telling everybody, I know how to deal with this, Just let it be. Just let it be. Strive for that sense of equanimity of the heart, even when it breaks in the suffering of others. Allow your heart to break. Allow the grief. Allow it. Trust it. It will never separate you from the spiritual dimension, but open you to even a greater spiritual space. And sometimes we cling to the outdated, Ram Dass says this, the outdated models of the past. We begin to witness everyone that pushes our heart as a disguise of distress that is calling our spiritual attention. And Ram Dass tells of a story. He was on one of his pilgrimages, spending 3 months in deep meditation. And he got a call that his father's second wife, named Phyllis, she was 85, and she married Ram Dass's dad when he was 72. He got a call from her that she had cancer and she was going into surgery. That's all she said. She didn't say, please come home. But he had spent all this time really trying to polish that flickering mind of his, and he really felt like he was making some progress, but then he gets this call. And all of a sudden, the duty to go home. But the master there said, stay. Stay? Or go serve the family. And no matter what Ram Dass tried to present as to why he should go, the master said, stay. Ram Dass went. He followed the calling of his heart to go serve Phyllis. And from that, so you see, sometimes we'll surrender to a dictate of that which we think knows more than we do, and yet it's not our truth. It has to be your truth. It has to be your calling, and Ram Dass did exactly that. And in this too, listen to this piece. When she was going, he loved this woman very much, and when she was going through all her tests, she'd gone through all the chemo, all the horror of that. She had one more biopsy, and they were waiting for the results, and he prayed to his guru, let it be benign. No sooner did he pray that prayer that the doctor came in and said, I'm sorry, there's nothing else we can do. He cursed his guru. He cursed him, and he was angry. And in that moment, everything lifted. Even with that, he felt the grace of love just move in and hold him and lift him and carry that situation to its end. His heart, he said, was flooded with a deep love, a surrender that was greater than holding the situation. So, more and more, when the opportunity permits, we tend to surround ourselves with people who don't shake our inner apple cart. Oh, that's why I like being at home. They are often the people who share our value, who appreciate us and leave us untroubled by the presence of our old habits, our prejudices, our opinions, and our preferences. What are called the uncooked seeds of aversions and attachments that lie dormant until the right circumstances provide that catalytic condition for them to bloom and flower are ignored. This is Ram Dass. But I was pulled by a yearning to be liberated from all the clingings of my mind, so I sought out the environments that were hot fires, that it is where the conditions were optimum for exposing those uncooked seeds. Oh, hello, humanity. And isn't it true? Why does that group of people annoy me? Because you got some uncooked seeds that are trying to be birthed and plucked. So Gandhi says, when he is questioned, my life is my message. My life is my message. Is yours? Is your life a message? Are you living the best truth that you possibly can and sorting out all the delusions and confusions and allowing that witness self within you that is so brilliant, so bright, so filled with absolute love and truth? And then recognizing that we're always working to correspond in the perfect way, to not pass a person with the wrong attitude, but to really pay attention to what we're doing and why we turn away. Why we turn away. This is selfless service. The joy itself is not reinforced by that trap of identifying with every thought of your mind. Be a witness to it. Don't identify with every thought of the mind. Oh, that's hard. Because it's so juicy. But don't identify with every thought of the mind. Dive deeper. Deeper into that commitment of truth. To serve. To discover, as Ram Dass would say, his dad, as he lost his second wife. His pattern then was just to always say, there we are. So whenever you find yourself, there you are. There you are. Serve. Find that place, that urge to serve. So, with that, there's this idea of sometimes we see suffering, but we're so quick to want to not see it or fix it. And we're not even with the person who's suffering because it's so painful. Be the pain. Be that. Breathe with it. Hold their hand. Just be. Just be with the suffering. Be with the news. Hard. But we can do it. That is the urge to serve. Because when we open our container, when we allow ourselves to, oh yeah, it's closed in there a little bit. All right, here I am, God. I'm opening up. I'm breathing. I'm feeling. I'm seeing. I'm crying. I'm laughing. I am. There I am. There you are. There you are. So Kabir says, do what you do for another person, but never put them out of your heart. Work on yourself to keep another person in your heart. Be there, opening, waiting with loving, spacious, non-judging appreciation and deep listening. Taste your heart's innate compassion. Feed the people, serve the people, love everybody, and tell the truth. Tell the truth. Don't be attached to the fruits. Not my will, but thine. Let everything you do be an act of devotion. In the Bhagavad Gita, I close with this: if your mind is on me, If your mind is on me, through my grace, you will cross all obstacles. So join me in a prayer that supports the idea that we serve because it is the right thing to do and there's no other alternative motive. Right action will always serve that universal self. It's the right thing to do. So each and every one of you here, just relax your heart. Allow yourself to breathe the whole body. Allow the alchemy of the mind and the heart to burn through all of the areas where you're confused or lost. And allow that witness state, that state of awareness, that purity, to shine through, to be the light, to be the bright, bright light of love for all of humanity and for yourself. So in this auspicious moment, we sit together in a space of light and love and truth, knowing that as we prepare our intentions for the new year, we include that perfect idea to love all, to serve all, to tell the truth, and to be present with what is. So I give thanks for the spiritual integrity of everyone here, for the willingness to open, to be, to love, to serve. This is our truth. Here we are. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, for the grace. And so it is.